Alright, you guys, I'm kind of starting to panic because the moon's coming up and it actually is pink and it's like a doomsday moon. I'm not even being dramatic, this is f***ing wild. Long story short, I wanted to film this video last night with the super pink moon, but unfortunately a giant death cloud came out of nowhere and had other plans. I'm gonna do something like, oh my god, we're losing it. Me. So tonight we're gonna shoot what I'm gonna call Cosmos Moon in honor of my mom and Moonstruck, her favorite movie. And we've got the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra all set up here and ready to go. I've got an iPhone 11 Pro, and I've got my first love, my first DSLR, a Canon 60D with an 18 to 200 millimeter lens. And we've also got this kind of ridiculous thing, this Boston Eye telephoto 22x lens we got on Amazon in a kit for about 40 bucks. And just so my blabbering doesn't make me miss the moon again, I just want to get the kind of blanket tips out of the way. First off, if your moonrise allows it, you should try and come out as early in the evening as you can in order for the twilight to kind of help you with the contrast. Something like a really bright moon and a really dark sky for something like a phone is going to be hard to handle. Second, you should use a timer or a voice assistant or a remote if you have one, so you're not actually pressing the shutter to reduce any sort of human shake. Speaking of which, you should use a tripod or a book or a stump or a beer, whatever you can find, so you're not actually holding the phone. Then, still kind of in that exposure world, you're probably going to want to drag this thing down as far as it goes if you're using a phone, if you want any sort of chance of getting detail in the moon. And if you're on a DSLR or in pro mode, bring the ISO down. That'll help get the noise down, help you get some details. And then finally, you should shoot in RAW or some other sort of high-res file format that you can edit later. It's really easy in the Samsung phone, at least for part of its cameras. iPhone, you gotta get a third-party app, which is pretty annoying, but once you do it, it's straightforward. DSLR speaks for itself. I'm tired of talking. I just want to see what Cosmos Moon is gonna bring us. Alright, you guys, I'm kind of starting to panic because the moon's coming up and it actually is pink and it's like a doomsday moon. Oh my god. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. I wish, can you see it in there? I don't even care. I don't even really want to waste my time with this 30x and that stuff. Alright, we're gonna get some pro mode. I was organized at first, but then this moon came up and I just started using the ledge as a stabilizer for this. Losing a little bit of its color. You know, one-man band in it is tough sometimes. Case in point, this thing is janky and hard to use. All right, now we got the iPhone on there and the 22x zoom searching for the moon, and I found it. The death cloud last night was just telling me, hang in there, buddy. Hang in there. Now that I got the DSLR set up, still got my mic, moon is still there. One of the main things is you just want to keep your ISO low so it doesn't bring up a bunch of noise in the dark parts, and you still get the details of the nice parts like the moon. I'm going to keep my f-stop a little high to keep it in focus, and then you don't really want your shutter open too long either because then it's just going to be blurry. And I like manual focus, and you can zoom into focus. Honestly, Cosmos Moon, one of the best moons I've ever seen. Of course, it's Cosmos Moon. So I'm gonna gather everything up, do a little bit of editing, and see you guys in the morning. Okay, so if you couldn't tell, that moon really caught me off guard, but it was still a really great moon to photograph, and I think better than the supermoon the night before that I only saw for a few minutes. But anyways, I've edited a bunch of the photos, and the results are pretty much what you'd expect. Let's start with the DSLR because these are just so much better than the ones I got on the phones. And these ones are just kind of my favorites. I'm not the best editor in the world, but I like these ones because they kind of look like an album cover from 1975, which, if you couldn't tell, is kind of my vibe. But yeah, here's as close as I could get with my lens, and then a few where I cropped in that I'm sure would work just fine for something like an Instagram photo. I actually did post a couple of these on Instagram already. But moving on, let's go to what you're probably most interested in. How did the phone photos turn out? Let's start with the big guns, Samsung's 100x space zoom. Well folks, I present you the best I got. It's terrible, it looks like an egg, and it was pretty much uneditable. I realize now that the save raw copy does not work with the telephoto lens, and it especially does not work with a 100x zoom. So there's that. But I also just want to say that I tried really hard to get this. I took like 1,000 photos, and for the most part, it just looked like this insane glowing orb. And I think only by luck, really, is I tricked the camera into letting me lower the exposure enough to get this egg photo. So now it's an egg instead of a spirit from another dimension, and it is what it is. And after shooting these, I read somewhere that using burst mode might help actually capture the moon. So next time, I'll try that. And here's the 30x, significantly better, but still not great. Honestly, it looks like a big cheese ball. And you can see that the S20 kind of adds a lot of weird color and noise to the scene, but by and large, it gave me a lot more to work with than the iPhone did. And this one was probably my favorite. This was taken at 5x with the 22x add-on lens. And it's a little out of focus, which is probably my fault. But that add-on lens was hard to use and definitely warped some of the photos, but it no doubt made photos on both phones better. And I also want to say that both cameras take really nice night mode shots, but you're probably going to want to turn night mode off for shooting the moon because that's going to let in a lot of light and then your moon's going to be overexposed. And the iPhone struggled a little bit. It definitely had a disadvantage in that it went second when the moon was higher and brighter. And I actually think it captured the whole scene with a little less noise and made it more true to life, but it really struggled capturing the moon itself. This one was the best one I got. It was in the ProCam app and it had the add-on lens. And then here's one that's in 10x digital zoom in the regular camera app, and you can kind of hardly tell what you're looking at. This one I got in the ProCam app without the add-on lens, and it isn't really something you'd be going for at all, but I kind of just like it. It makes you feel like you're really, really small and just sort of trapped in the void. The next full moon is on May 7th. It's also a super moon. It's called the flower moon this time. And you can bet I'll go up to the roof again and try and capture it, probably with only this guy this time. You should try and take some photos too, see what you get, let me know. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching, and we should all thank the healthcare workers and everyone else who's out there doing real work and keeping us all safe. Thank you guys.